In the northernmost boundaries of the Forgotten Realms, beyond the snowy capped mountains of the spine of the world, lies a vast area of isolated and unsettled land, filled with snow, ice, extreme cold, and the unknown. The neighboring townsfolk of Icewind Dale refer to this land as the Reghed Glacier, a swath of frozen land hundreds of kilometers wide. Although this is its canonical name, the scholars from the Neverwinter Academy refer to this location using a different term: the anomaly. In fact, when they refer to it as the anomaly, academics actually refer to one specific location within the center of this kilometers-wide glacier. A location within the ice, which till now has defied scholarly understanding. Try as they might, the Neverwinter Academy has tried to derive towards an answer to what lies within this area. Whilst historical accounts of the glacier are scarce and contradictory, the Academy's own attempts have failed time and time again to provide an answer to the following questions. What lies within the center of this glacier? What causes any scientific instrumentation to malfunction and magical attempts to scry this location to fail so miserably? What secrets lie within this frozen wasteland? What is the anomaly? Frustrated with the lack of answers and eager to obtain them, the Academy finally put together an exploratory team to delve into the heart of the Reghed Glacier. The team, made up of Neverwinter scholars, explorers, and navigators, numbered exactly 20 strong. Their mission was simple: return back to the Academy with answers. The team spent a month traveling north along the Sword Coast until they reported arriving at the city port of Luskan. There, they confirmed their arrival within Icewind Dale, and a week later reported their arrival at Tourmaline, the northernmost town within the Dale. Also, coincidentally, the last bastion of civilization neighboring the Reghed Glacier. That is the team's last recorded entry. It is at this point that the team vanished. Vanished completely. No communications, no sign of them, nothing. 2 weeks have passed since then, a long stretch of radio silence, proving every single attempt by the Academy to reconcile with the team futile. Long-range scanners and magical attempts fail time and time again to discern anything from the distant, far-away background static of the previously established communication channels. Until one day, 2 weeks into this dead silence, one single garbled phrase came through. Mayday, SOS! And then, the background static once more blanketed the communication channel in distorted static. Bewildered, the Neverwinter academics immediately assumed the worst. The message was clearly from one of the scholars on the expedition team, a professor by the name of Ronggrim Dappelflight, one of the 20-man party. Something terrible must have befallen the expedition team. Wasting no time, a rescue team was hastily put together and departed via the Terror, an airship from a bygone dwarven age, now owned by the Academy. The Terror currently travels to the lost team's last recorded location, Tourmaline. The people comprising the rescue team aboard this ship are you. This is your story, as you prepare to land within the town of Tourmaline to pick up the last recorded location of 20 vanished personnel. From aboard the terror, Drunril. You see the distant vistas of countless mountains and snowy ice-white peaks. The air is visible and quite clear, but on the far horizon, even beyond the distant white peaks, you see what seems to be like the beginning of a brewing storm. Grey clouds, limited visibility, and occasionally a cackle of thunder. From aboard the Terror, this dwarven vessel which you are currently on, you stand there, just taking everything, this grand vista, into account. The ship is a mechanical beast. It is held aloft, kilometers far from the ground, by a massive air balloon. Similar to a normal seafaring ship, it is attached to a massive hull with two masts. The ship spans roughly to around, I'd say, 100 feet in length. It's quite big. There you lay, with countless furs around yourself. The air quite chilly, quite cold, and you, a dwarf, however accustomed you may be to alien temperatures, find yourself struggling a bit to orient yourself with the sudden change in temperature. You look around and you see the occupants of this ship below you. This expedition team isn't that big, and perhaps the entire total of it you can count on your 10 fingers. You crack your knuckles, once more resuming your look towards the open vista, and you catch yourself in the reflection of the nearby metallic railing of the ship. You see there a bulky dwarf, red beard, but I'll let yourself describe the character you're playing.
So currently, due to the icy environment and the great chill seeping into Drunder's bones, even through his thick black fur coat, all that is visible is, as you said, his one eye looking out, the other covered by an eye patch, his thick red beard, and the scars on his bald face, the wind occasionally flapping his hood, allowing the sun to shine, what little sunlight there is to shine on his bald head. His blue eyes stare out, contemplating not just the vista in front of him, but also thinking about the ship he is currently standing on, which reminds him of the great work of his family, the forgements of Clan Goldenhand.
This thought, as it echoes within your mind, is a contradictory one, because you as a dwarf you're obviously oriented to a life of living underground, mining the dark depths of the earth, but this contradicts your very being. On one hand, you find yourself a bit unsettled, especially looking downwards and seeing kilometers worth of distance towards the snowy ground. Yet at the same time, you can't help but feel a sense of pride, knowing that not only this vehicle is a work of dwarfmanship from an age of bygone past, but it also trails back to your original ancestry to some extent. You do know that to some extent, you as a Golden Hand had a part to play in this. At least your ancestors were working at some point on the designs of this ship. Or so you've been told. Maybe it's legend, maybe it's not true. You don't care. Either way, it adds a further sense of pride to the name Golden Hand. Sadly, the name of Golden Hand doesn't mean what it once meant before. Now with the almost a century later, after the downfall of Mithril Hall, you as a Golden Hand have much less renown as you once had, or what once the name represented. But in any case, you're here.
As these thoughts go through Drudril's head, he clenches a fist around the rails, kind of puts himself forward eagerly, awaiting the adventure that is sure to come. Perhaps once more the name of Golden Hand. His clan can take pride in that name once again.
And as these thoughts fill your mind, who knows what this adventure ahead will bring you. Maybe more fame and renown as you wish to the name Golden Hand. Maybe something else entirely. When you first signed up for this rescue expedition, you weren't sure what to expect. And you gather that it's not just you with this sentiment, from the little that you've talked to the rest of the rescuers aboard this vessel. As you think about the others, you look towards the helm of the ship, towards a rather alienish figure of sorts. You weren't sure what the creature was when you first met him, although in hindsight he later explained himself to be some sort of Githyanki, he said. I'm not sure exactly what that means, to be honest. This Githyanki in question is distracted as he seems to be looking at a half withdrawn blade, still half embedded in his pommel. You see yourself, Vidas, your reflection distorted in the side of this inferior blade. You've seen better before. And it's definitely a far cry from the silver Githyanki swords that you've grown up and trained with, that you've grown accustomed to. What do you see in that reflection? Tell us about yourself.
What you see is quite relatively young, but not too young, Githyanki, with yellowish skin, flat-nosed and trimmed hair, and off to the side of his head. Of course, the image that he remembers of himself is when he fought by the side of his queen, but since then has transformed in many ways once he defected, seeing much of the tyranny that she had brought upon her enemies. And since then, working as a mercenary for hire for the Neverwinter Academy has paid his coin, so that he may live a relatively simple life until now. So what Vidas is wearing is this blue kind of eerie looking tribalistic kind of armor. Of course with some weapons which, as described, are not so stainless and sharpened, but alas, he's ready to encounter dangers ahead of him, hoping that he might actually be able to earn his coin a bit better now that the distress call is as urgent as it seems.
All these thoughts flood to your mind as you see the distorted reflection in the blade. But after like a few seconds of this entire contemplation, you sheath the sword back in and rest your hands onto the wooden railing of the ship besides the captain. You currently stand by the helm of the ship, and in front of you lays the entire length, basically, of the Terror. As you see it kind of vibrate and shackle underneath the pressures of the ensuing winds, you think to yourself, even like how inferior this design of a ship fares compared to the type of vessels you've grown accustomed to sailing within the Silver Sea. Next to you is the captain of the ship, a female tiefling, roughly in her late 40s. She's wearing a apologies. Sorry about that. So, the captain of the ship is wearing a tightly trimmed black uniform with golden / yellowish leather cufflinks on her shoulder as well as around her wrist. She has a scimitar, or more like a ranking sword of sorts, belted by her side. She has wide billowing hair, which kind of curls around two great greyish horns sprouting from the top of her skull. You catch her looking at you, like after coming to your senses yourself, after this myriad of thoughts that you've just had, specifically towards your neck. Subconsciously, your hand goes towards the amulet around your neck. What seems, or what is, a yellowish shard, an heirloom of yours. Greenish yellowish, perhaps. The captain tells you, time and time again I've been looking at that. I wonder why it glows so strangely. Might I ask you where you've obtained it?
This has belonged to my family, but I've noticed it glowing more eerily as we are approaching the anomaly upon the ship. I do not know why it is iridescent as it is right now. Perhaps we might find out.
Let us hope it is for good tidings.
That's what I'd like to hope.
Below, beneath the ship's deck, is a conversation which has been in the making for 4 hours now. In front of you, Frank, sits a lavishly dressed man with a blue suit, well tailored, and the man has blue eyes, a set of perfect golden locks, and he's been speaking basically in this one-sided conversation for the better part of an hour. The man, you know him by the name of Lockwell Ambertide. And he tells you, there I was, my friend, you wouldn't believe it. A sword in my hand, slowly I snuck upon the sleeping dragon. It was so massive, it was twice as big as this ship. And with my sword in hand, I snuck under its belly. I inched closer and closer. And as it snored, the great beast turned around. I lay silent. I sobbed there and then, fearing that it might squash me with its immense weight. But it settled again, unaroused. I continued forward until, eventually, I came eye to eye with this great beast. And around its neck, I saw this beautiful gem. Not unlike yours, I might add. Beautiful, blue, almost the color of my, what I'm wearing. And with my sword, I slowly slashed the piece of rope hanging this great gem around its neck. And that's how I became a millionaire. I went back to the nearest town, Baldur's Gate. Sold it for quite a generous amount. And that's how I came to write my books. Oh yes, Ambertide's Guides to the World. In fact, now I aim to publish a new volume. 7-star nominated, award-winning, I might add. All of it. You've read it, of course, haven't you?
I don't even know how to read, man.
No wait, I'll teach you. But this next one will be my best yet.
Baggy. That stories were far down worse than the university's lecturings, man.
One word was the next that I don't know. I
No, I didn't know this fuck actually the Neverwinter. Wait. It's turned like that. Darn you, and so. Don't believe that's hard.
Don't believe it. My friend, you need to read the entire series. Listen, I'll give them to you already signed.
If you want to the gate with a gem, so it. The rest will be wilder than the ship's bow. I know the gate. You can walk around with gems in the gate and sting you. I've been dust filthier than your lives.
You insult me! How dare you! I'll let you know that my series is renowned across the entirety of the Sword Coast, in all of the 3 cities, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter, as well as... I can't remember the other city. Heck, but these books are sold all across, and nobody has had the audacity to come and tell me up front that these are lies.
I don't do much more than cooking and cleaning, almost.
You don't even know how to read, so how dare you come to me and tell me that?
I must admit, that was a lie, just to avoid reading your books. But once the Grand Archmages of the Neverwinter Academy allowed in the library. Got some of the books in there, you know. The Grand Archmages. Tips and tricks. How to please. A well-located toilet.
If I'll be honest with you, my friend, this was a bit of a pitch. I was wondering if you'd be interested to buy royalties into this book. I've already told you that I've joined the... hang on, let me...
I'm not royal, how can I do that?
You're sent by the Neverwinter Academy, one of the most prestigious schools within the city.
Yeah, to clean the ship.
You're the cleaner.
I'm a janitor. And I great one at that.
Okay.
And I just escape with my mage hand.
A janitor with magical skills.
But as I do that, my fingertips like kind of glow with that weird mucus and it stays dripping and it makes this really annoying sound.
I think you have something to clean up there.
And I like
Actually,
this cloak and was iron.
He stands up. Please, go wipe that shit elsewhere. This conversation wasted with you. He stands up and walks off, leaving you to contemplate your own drink. As you stare down into your own grog, there rippling within the surface reflection, what do you see, Frank?
I see a bulbous nose, an eye that is quite tenser than the other almost, as if he's been a victim of a stroke, but it's more of years and years of stress and hard labors in university. His hair, although long, is very sporadic. He seems to have somewhat of a scar on one of the sides. It's crazy. He wears a backpack with a pot tied to the underneath, bigger than himself probably, and another small pot with a bunch of cooking utensils floating around. Although he's wearing quite well-equipped clothes, you can notice that they come in a sporadicity of different colors and like touched up from different stuff. You can even see like a Neverwinter Academy logo on some, as if he's used recycled material to make his clothes. And he's very crooked and has this very, very greasy look about him, as if although he seems clean, he still seems mucusy and oily.
As you kind of gaze into your drink, you also try, a part of you at least tries to remember what the previous conversation was about, because even now, like seconds later, you're already starting to forget what this pompous guy was even talking about. And you think to yourself that this is not the first time this has happened to you. And as the memory fog becomes kind of deeper and deeper, the amount of conversation you remember with this guy decreases even less and less. And you realize to yourself that this is something you've encountered not just now, but you've been struggling with for ages now in the past. And like at a subconscious level, your hand clutches the red ruby gem hanging around your neck, giving you some sense of comfort. And this is something that you've always done. Like whenever you've encountered periods of anxiety or come across any sort of problems, like just wrapping your hand around this gem, this beautiful present that you were gifted by the Neverwinter Academy, brings you back to level, and it helps with the memory fog issue that you have.
Because I think that I also forget that it calms me down, as I get actually calmer. I realize it's a bit dirty and I spit a huge blob of gunk onto it and kind of polish it with one of my garments.
Looking at this crippled, old, white-haired halfling sitting within the ship's hold, stands you, Jermaine, who has been overhearing and overlooking this conversation and just assessing the people with whom you're aboard with for some time now. You turn around, looking from one of the portholes within the ship's hold, looking outside specifically, and you take into account like this beautiful view as the ship sails past the now not so distant mountain peaks. You also see like a hazy greyish sky out there, and what you see, what seems to be the beginning of a thunderstorm of sorts, maybe with occasional crack of lightning. You also catch your reflection there as you stand looking into the porthole. What does Jermaine see?
So through the reflection, Jermaine sees his eyes sort of try to focus, but it seems that whatever they focus on, they seem to be looking at something beyond. He has rugged hair going down the side of his face and fair blue eyes. He's wearing basically what seem to be basically military clothes. He has an old insignia for the Neverwinter Guard, and basically as he reflects, he sees the open sky and he wonders whether this might be a mistake that might bring back the fears of the past.
A mistake for sure. But then again, if you had swept over this opportunity and not taken it, you wonder to yourself what would have happened, in the sense that potentially the curiosity which has kind of fueled you into this whole endeavor would have probably eaten at you if you hadn't enrolled yourself within this rescue party. You know for a fact that a certain vision or a certain past has already haunted you, and you feel that this expedition into the north will bring you one step closer to resolving these questions, these fears that you have. You have a shared interest with the party in discovering what the anomaly is. Not only are you looking for the lost expedition team, but a personal, a more deeper question begs the answer to the question, what is the anomaly? Your eyes, as they stray away from the distant, or towards the distant cloud horizon and poor visibility, as you look away, you realize that one of the occupants aboard this ship, Onug, has come into the ship's hold. He is a 7-foot bear-ish creature, fair, as white as snow, but covered with winter clothing. He's well armored and carrying what seems to be a massive axe behind his back. This bear-like figure comes into the ship's hold, stops for a second, looking at yourself, Frank, and yourself, Jimmy, and as his eyes lock contact with you, he walks over towards you. Greetings. It is, I was thinking, a really genius stroke of luck that you happened to meet me where you met me. And as he says that, your mind races back, because you've just met Onuk, like all of you have met this bear. Well, he's not a bear. He tells you that he's a werebear, actually. Onuk, you've met him a few days ago, on your way into Icewind Dale specifically, when you stopped to restock the ship's inventory at Dugan's Hole, one of 10 town's villages. Onuk tells you that he was actually on his way towards Neverwinter itself, with an urgent message of his own. When you kind of reconnect with him in Dugan's Hole, he told you that he was actually departing from Termalaine because he had just met with Rongrim Dappleflight, one of the expeditioners who sent the SOS message back to the Neverwinter Academy, and he was basically coming back to pass along this urgent message. His plan was to travel back to the Neverwinter Academy and tell them that something wrong had befallen the expedition team. And that's where you met him in Dugan's Hole. He was on his way to Neverwinter.
So, he had met Rongrim
He's already met Rongrim Dappleflight
in the town itself,
in Termalaine,
where we're landing now.
In fact, he tells you, you know, when I met Rongrim, he was in a state of upheaval. I've never seen the gnome and any gnome, to be honest with you, so disgruntled.
What are you to the gnome?
Me? Nothing. They call me the champion of 10 towns because I am a bit of a sellsword mercenary for hire. I go around from town to town within Icewind Dale, selling my sword and to make sure that I keep up a good moral standard code, you know, between the entirety of 10 towns. All of these villages, they can have a bit of a lack for law, if you get my drift.
Given your nature, have you ventured far into the ice, where Professor has perhaps gone as well?
From the little he told me, he came, or the expedition team ventured into the Reghed Glacier, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
He actually was one of the few people who they left behind.
And you yourself have never gone to such a
Into the glacier. My friend, many people have ventured into the Reghed Glacier, but almost none come back. You see, it is not a place that hospitable to people. And to tell you the truth, I've never had the need to go into it anyways.
People perhaps not, but you are not a regular person, you're aware of it, from my understanding.
Yes, but tell me, to what end should I venture into the Reghed Glacier?
You know, not your motivations, perhaps, you know, some other monster that's not familiar to us, but I digress.
Just question though. You see, the way 10 towns is situated within Icewind Dale, Termalaine is on the verges of this glacier. Beyond Termalaine lies nothing except for an open tundra of snow and ice. This is where the expedition team has departed into. And according to our friendly expeditioner waiting for you in Termalaine, never returned.
What sort of security do you think the expedition take with them? They take perhaps sellswords like you, or their official guards from Neverwinter?
To my knowledge, my friend, they did not hire any people from within Icewind Dale, but the gnome assured me that there was a degree of able-bodied persons who had joined the expedition team in the first place. To be honest with you, I did not inquire much about their original setup. When Rongrim originally approached me, he was panicked and befuddled. I promised to him that I would carry his word over towards the Neverwinter Academy as fast as possible to relay his message, given that it did not come across towards the city. Or so he thought, until I met you.
His message was simply to come and help, nothing else.
I know, but he told me that he tried for days to reach to the Neverwinter Academy, to ask for help and to relay his message of urgency.
Did he not specify perhaps the nature of the danger?
He said, or at least he said that he went into great detail as to what he suspected it might be. You tell me though that his message was quite brief when you received it from your end, from the Academy at least.
Perhaps there are some things that were left out, or perhaps my memory does not serve me as well as it should. But I'll keep what you said in mind.
Anyways, we should not be that far from Termaline. The captain has already assured me that within a day's time we will be there. And then I will take you to the gnome himself. Perhaps he will give you the answers that you are seeking.
That sounds like a good plan.
There is a crack of thunder outside, which brings us back towards the ship deck above.
So I'm outside while this, when the thunder crack happens.
Yes.
No dwarf was made for this. I go beneath the hole.
You clutch your cloak even tighter, feeling the cold shiver now even more intensely. And as the lightning crackles overhead, you realize it's not raining or anything, but the foul weather that you had seen originally before is now almost upon you. You see that even the terror itself buckles and vibrates under the immense pressures of the oncoming storm. And you realize that it might probably be more warmer and safer below deck. You make your way towards there. As you do so, you pass kind of beneath the ship's deck and you see both Vidas and the captain kind of at the ship's helm trying to navigate the ship onwards. And you also cast your glance backwards towards a hooded figure. One of the rescuers or one of the new expedition members who have so far preferred to stay to himself. Which brings us to you, Craven. You notice, or you feel rather, that the terror is about to enter a storm. You can sense this not only from ship's movements as the kind of its struggles against the oncoming winds, but also as you draw your cloak even tighter to yourself. You look around and you catch the dwarf who just gave you half a glance, heading below the ship's deck. But you also catch somebody else staring at you. A rather enigma sort of person, a jester of sorts. He's literally garbed in jester's clothing. The figure... Yes, snap it. Is garbed with an array of swords and daggers belted to his side, and he wears a white pallid mask on his face. He has a jester's hat, like with two bells hanging from it, and the figure is just very nonchalantly kind of hanging on one side of the ship's railing, just staring outwards. But this time you catch him staring at you from behind his mask.
So, what's your name then?
My name is Craven.
What are you here for then?
This is an expedition to go towards the unknown, you know?
I do not know much about this mission. I was hired just to guard you. A lot of you.
So, you're some sort of mercenary then?
No, I'm not. You see, I'm a jester. I'm a jester to my emperor.
I look at your weapons. You don't look like any jester I've ever seen.
Yes, my
performances are a bit different than the normal ones. But I'm still a wrestler. As you kind of look towards this cloaked figure, you see Craven. Would you like to describe yourself?
Craven is a young wizard, donning a black robe with a purple cape. Has a scruffy beard and scruffy hair. His eyes, although he's looking at you, but you cannot help feel that they're looking past you, kind of. So it's like he's been through a lot with his eyes, say. Then he has a spell book chained to his belt.
You catch Wit kind of staring at you as kind of the conversation falls dim. None of you talking. And you think to yourself, this guy's going to be a problem probably. This guy is, you don't trust him. You don't trust, to be honest, like any other of the crewmen aboard this ship. You've already caught them kind of catching strange glances towards you, and though you're accustomed to it, given your past, still, this person in front of you has a certain sense of disquiet around him, which kind of hits you wrongly. You think to yourself that so long as he doesn't do anything until you arrive, you should be fine. Or he should be fine. You're ready to go to your wit's end to seek out what you're already looking for. The gem mine. You're not exactly sure why you're looking for the gem mine, but you've been told that it's in the near vicinity of Terminane. You're not exactly sure who told you. You're not exactly sure why you're seeking this specific location. It's like you have a question which you know the answer to, but it's buried within you, and you don't want to answer it yourself. As Wit walks away for a second, you kind of grip the railing, looking back outwards as the storm envelops the terror. And you notice that you have dried red paint underneath your fingertips. Kind of pick at it for a second. Huh. You don't remember that being there. It's all dried up. You wonder what that is. Suddenly there's a lightning strike very closely to the ship, and an intense smell of burnt ozone. The entirety of the ship trembles, and even those of you within the ship's hold below hear the intensity of the lightning strike. What do you do?
I grip my cloak tighter, find somewhere to sit down safely, say, wait for this.
As you do so, you hear the voice of the captain above. Quickly, everybody! Above deck, we have a situation!
Oh no.
As you stand in the staircase leading into the ship's hold, you see already Jermaine climbing up, responding to the captain's call.
Is there? I'm speaking there.
You're already above the ship's deck.
Up, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Below there, is there like a bucket and something to clean with?
Below?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I fidget thinking that someone has stored it instead of not
You also notice that Lockwell, with a certain sense of disgust, that kind of follows you as you carry the bucket that slops water from one side to another as you head above deck.
As I'm going up, it's it.
Damn you, Captain! What again?
What's the weather out there?
So the weather above the ship's deck is really bad. It seems to you like the Terror has headed into a storm. The wind is quite intense and it's bitterly cold. Occasionally you see lightning strikes, but you do notice that the captain just reacted in this way because a lightning bolt just struck the top of the ship. With your passive perception, you can't really make out exactly what it struck, but you know that it struck some part of the ship. The last of the persons coming outside of the ship's hold, which I assume you're also coming outside.
I'm peeking outside from the staircase.
Okay. You feel a thump on your shoulder. You look up and you see the whitish werebear Onug looking down. Don't worry, my friend. Come on out.
We're in the air. There is a problem.
Indeed, that's why we have been summoned to the captain to see what it is.
Yes, go. I will follow.
He walks by you and continues outwards. The ship's captain, who is struggling with the wheel of the ship, tries to yell over the din of the wind. She points actually towards above where the air balloon is at. And as all of you follow her kind of direction, you can see that she's pointing towards what seems to be a mounted ballista on top of the airship. And she tells you, that arrow tip, it's made of iron, and if we don't cover it soon, it's going to attract more lightning. We need to cover it quickly with a sheet or something. Any volunteers? So make a perception check for us.
I'm going to try to see if I can find
First rolls of the campaign, sorry.
Going to try to find some sheet.
Sure, make a perception check.
18.
Okay.
I'm wondering they hold us to allow operators to go up there if need be.
Okay.
15.
15. So, with the 13, you actually see what she's pointing to. You see that you asked what she's looking at, right?
How far away is it?
Cool. Okay, so you're about like 20 feet away from it. If you were to stand exactly under it, where you see Wit walking towards you, but you yourself actually, you're sitting quite closely to the ship's helm. That's about like 40 feet roughly, because the airship is quite big. You stand directly underneath the balloon. You try to assess the situation. With the 15, you see what seems to be a piece of tarp, which is tied to one of the foremasts of the air balloon. It's flapping wildly in the wind and it's kind of hanging with a piece of rope itself to the ship's mast. You reckon that if you were to untie that,
and I head directly towards it, trying to untie it.
Cool. As you kind of navigate and walk downwards past the rest of the crew here towards the forefront of the mast, the captain tells you, Vitus! Climb the ladder towards the front of the ship. I wouldn't suggest you take one of the cables towards the top. And she's referring to what are 4 different cables, which actually are tying the ship's balloon to the actual hull of the ship. There's 4 of them. On top of that, the balloon, it's tied to 2 masts from below. And then there's a ladder at the very forefront of the ship, which is the easiest point of access towards the
then
top.
I need her calling after I get the tarp to climb up there.
So you head towards the tarp, you quickly untie it as the ship buckles again.
I'm trying to untie the tarp whilst holding my footing on the rumbling board.
And as you untie it, you start making your way towards the front of the ship. What would the others would like to do as he's doing this?
Can I try and lift the tarp with my ancient? I don't know if it's really enough.
Sure. What would you like to do?
I try to lift it, and if I can move my nation 30 feet. So I would get close to the spear tip and use my nation.
Carrying the bucket and the mop in hand, you walk behind Vitus, this halfling kind of crouching over, buried under the weight of the equipment you're carrying. You plop them to one side and with one hand you pluck at the tarp, trying to help trying to help Vitus untie the tarp, and quickly it comes apart quite easily, seamlessly.
Thank you, old man.
I follow Vitus and try to spot him as he climbs up there, just in case he's thrown off by the wind or any shaking of the
Okay.
of the
The yep.
Seeing, I stayed back studying everyone what he's doing, especially him, but keeping him in my view. Seeing him casting Mage Hand, I also cast Mage Hand to help.
You realize, Vitus, that the moment you're trying to untie the tarp, there's a couple of hands which are also trying to help, and it makes the process a bit more complicated.
So,
For a second, I see the damage in my wage and I whack it.
feeling the ship rumbling beneath me, Drunner starts hyperventilating. And then calms down, searches through his rucksack, takes out his closed large bottle filled with ale, takes a sip of it, and suddenly a fire lights up in his eyes. He throws off his cloak, right, bearing his chest to the wind, and goes on board, ready to help.
You see Wit coming from like the corridor of the ship's hold, this barely tightly muscled dwarf, like really bare from the waist up almost. And he's oblivious to the cold apparently. Because of all the people aboard the ship, he's the only one half naked. What do you do as you stride onwards?
So I take a look around, So I take a look around, trying to see where I can help, and I see a lot of spectral hands trying to untie.
This is happening at the front of the ship, by the way, and you're at the back as you emerge from the ship's
okay.
hold.
So what do I see from the back?
From the back, you practically see the captain struggling with the wheel of the ship. You see Craven and the halfling trying to mage hand the rope. You see Wit standing by you, and Jermaine towards the forefront of the ship where he is assessing the leather situation up front.
So I rush towards Jermaine to see how I can help with the ladder. Try to keep it steady perhaps.
So as the two of you kind of walk up towards the front, Vidas, you come with the tarp hanging around your shoulder, and you meet with the dwarf and the human who are kind of holding the ladder for you. It's already kind of tied to the ship. It's like it's not going anywhere, but given the intense buckling which the terror is going through, what do you do?
I'm going to try to cover the ballista, and I try to climb up the mast, not the mast, the access point which the captain pointed me towards.
It's a ladder.
Right.
It's a ladder.
Exactly. So I try to climb up the ladder,
So we're there.
posing for
Yes.
dear life, given that the ship is.
We'll hold the ladder for you, lad. And I grab onto the ladder, plant my feet down on the hull, right, on the deck, sorry, and I hold on.
I give him a confident nod and trudge forward up the ladder.
Is he close by me or
I'm as straight as back as I can.
is he with an airshot?
Yeah.
Should hold the ladder with our wee hands. We're going to help.
I don't follow his lead when he moves to the rage and hold the other side.
You nod, clutch the cloak even tighter, and silently curse him for. You're trying to keep good appearances, of course, Craven, but this whole situation doesn't sit well. Quite, you're not kind of a person's people, so to speak. But the both of you once more summon the mage hand, and now there's a total of 6 hands, coupled two, and one mage hand each.
Do I see?
Clutching.
Do I see spectral hands?
You do.
I start blowing with them.
The hands seem oblivious to your bellowing.
When I see this being handed, I just go near the captain, find a bench and sit down. Just looking there, seeing everything being done correctly or not, just staying there, relaxed. Nothing bothering me at all. Just
The werebear kind of walks up towards the helm of the ship as well, with buffeting his white hair. He rests beside you as well, hands firmly clutching the railing. And compared to you, who's just, again, nonchalantly just sitting there, just assessing the whole situation, very relaxed, in a relaxed manner, he says, looks towards you, then back towards them, then back towards you, says, they work quite well together as a team.
yeah, it looks like so. There's no need for us to help, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I just sit here.
Enjoying
Yeah, enjoy
the bitter cold. Vidas, what do you do?
I suddenly look up to see how high I need to climb up, basically, to the ballista, and I garner
Make a perception check.
amount of. It's 4. I think the blizzard is blinding my eyes with the.
In
with
fact,
the
yes,
ongoing rain.
you don't although you know that like there's only 20 feet worth of difference, visibility is already so poor. That coupled already with a bit of paranoia that this ship is just violently shaking underneath your feet. But you can't assess like the top of the ship at this point.
With my kind of free hand, because I'm assuming I'm holding the tarp right here, I clutch my gemstone, feeling its warmth to the touch. And remember that I must do this, otherwise the ship will crash. So I start climbing the ladder.
Each railing or like each rung within the ladder is freezing cold. And slowly you fight the winds as you work yourself up, and just a few seconds in, you can already see the top of it. You clear the ladder and you're now aboard the ship's wind bar, like the very top of the balloon basically. There's no railings up here, and it's just you trying to balance yourself as you work your way towards the ballista, which is towards the middle of the ship.
There's a direct platform towards the ballista?
Yes.
Okay. So I stick to the middle as much as possible, making sure I don't slip.
Cool. So
watch carefully for patches of ice on top of the platform.
in fact, that's a good point, because you realize as you kind of work yourself very closely, like one misstep here and it would send you either plummeting onto the ship's deck or, well, sending you kilometers down.
I don't have my level 1 encounter.
And you take your time, slowly working your way towards this massive ballista. You see that it's kind of half frozen to some extent, like even the wheels where it's kind of chained to the air balloon itself. The wheels themselves are frozen to the chains, and the ballista, the arrow tip, is already kind of caked with ice. And you work your way slowly towards the weapon.
Okay, I try to be careful and not touch any metallic parts as well. But as long as I'm like maybe, I don't know, 3 feet away, I try to see if I can throw the kind of the tarp while still holding it on top of the iron ballista, and then I can see if I can tie it to some part of the wood.
Okay, so give me a let's see. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Can I allow something for to inspire him? Be careful, strange-faced lad. Dwarven vessels are not made for this kind of climate.
From the other side, I shout.
Swing the blade in the air so it strikes it instead of the wrist up.
Unnatural 20.
Hey!
Very deftly, and thanks to your years of experience sailing airships.
And words of affirmation.
Yeah, exactly. No thanks to the words of affirmation. You very deftly tie the tarp in a way where you cover the extruding metal rod of the ballista. Satisfied with your work, you turn around and very slowly start making your way back. And you stop there in midair. Because amidst the dark grey clouds, you think you just saw something.
Can I take a perception?
Make a perception check.
Or 7.
You hear it before you see it. In fact, not only you do you hear it, but everybody else aboard this ship hears it. And then it's followed by the flap of wings. And emerging from the dark grey clouds of this ensuing storm, you see a white dragon emerge, coming right at you, charging into the ship. Roll for initiative.
We wake up, no?
It is called Lucky Grace. So anytime you're dealt like damage, you can decide to replace the damage and just take d6 damage instead. Make sense?
No.
So if you take any sort of damage, you can opt to use a Lucky Grace token, and you take d6 damage instead. So you have a total of 5 shared between you.
I'm shared between us.
Second rule is the second is crossbar wins. Anybody moving aboard the crossbar, which is the top part of the air balloon, that counts as difficult terrain. If you decide to dash it, there are certain DC checks that you need to take in case you fuck up. No, but otherwise you can move like it's difficult terrain and there's no...
Listen, if you fall, you can take a D6 instead.
Unless I fall outside the ship.
You can take a D6 instead.
No, lucky close.
Can we all jump off the ship and take 6 damage?
Come on now, son. Oh yeah, 5 out of 6 nation.
Don't worry, I've got feather.
Can I have a hook?
Oh, easy.
I think we can start. So, I think it's the dragon going first.
So no, it's not the dragon going first. Actually, it is Vidus with the 21.
Vidus, you see the dragon emerging from the billowy clouds around you. Flying towards us. What do you do?
I use the free action to shout. Captain, is the ballista working? Use it, Vidus! I ran towards the ballista. I don't think I run. I walked. I tried to hastily move. Let's say. Trying to remove the tarp, I just securely put in.
With 5 magic hands.
So to operate the ballista, you need to be at the back of it.
Okay.
And since it's difficult terrain, I think you can move.
I move 30 feet, so.
Exactly. So 30 feet will bring you 1, 2, 3. Like in the middle of it, roughly. Like you're kind of making for dear life over here. So that's 30 feet of movement. What else do you do?
Do I have a bonus action or something?
You have that game after.
What can I actually actions? What can I take? So
You kept name. You kept name.
but dash I still can't use it after.
It's the mouse jump.
No. You can dodge, you can hide, or you can prepare an action also.
Can I actually dodge? I don't know what it does.
So you take, yes, you use your action to dodge. So if you're attacked in your off round, you have it's a dexterity saving throw.
Attackers have a disadvantage.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then I'll dodge. It's been a while.
That's it, if he has a fire breath or something like that.
He's
I know,
dragon. He won't have fire breath.
Exactly.
He will have ice breath.
You very cautiously do a U-turn and back towards the ballista. In the background, obviously hearing the dim of the flapping wings coming closer and closer. So, what happens after Vidus?
We've all seen the dragon at this point.
Yes, you have.
Drunril, with fire in his eyes, turns to see where the noise was coming from. And his eyes widen. The fire dims. He turns back towards the ladder, holding on to it with a little less strength. And he just closes his eyes for a few seconds, lets go of the ladder, and braces to take his great axe in hand from his back.
What's your free action? You one-sheeted, looking at this massive white beast as it makes a beeline towards the side of the ship.
I stand there, looking semi-menacingly at the dragon.
You try to make yourself as imposing as possible, but with your passive insight you gather that it's a very difficult task to do compared to what's coming towards you.
Come on, beast. You will taste the hatred of the golden clans, the hands. In his confusion and great fear, Drunril starts confusing his words.
Anything else that's at random
Not
like
yet.
so after Drunril.
So after Drunril, we have Jermaine.
Well, you all rolled above 17.
Yeah, I rolled it.
No, dragon was no. Why was I?
I told you who's next, that's why.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Dragon.
No problem.
I mean, I didn't do anything. So.
You stared menacingly, huh?
Exactly.
That's a frightened roll.
So the dragon moves quite a substantial amount. He flies towards the back of the ship. Can you take the mini?
Can. Yo.
He lands towards the back of the ship over there.
He lands on the ship.
Yes. As he does so, you feel the entire deck buckling. Slowly, or quite suddenly, the terror kind of loses a bit of balance there. You also feel this loss of altitude all of a sudden as this massive great weight has just been added to this flying airship. And the captain, as a reaction, yells out, "Get this creature over my damned ship! As it lands there, the dragon bellows once more. And it takes a swipe towards you.
Lovely. So
Is-
4 grace, nice.
Is it dragon to scale or is it?
It's to scale, it's an adult. I shouldn't have said so. It's an adult dragon.
It's an adult dragon.
So, it takes one massive swipe, and as it kind of relaxes its claws in preparation to it, you see this massive four-pronged hand preparing to essentially eviscerate you completely from existence. As it brings its hand down, you dodge, and its claws kind of get embedded into the side of the ship. It tries to rip its hand out, but it's stuck for a second. Throw a natural one. I'll give you a free attack opportunity against
Oh,
it.
la, la.
Hayda hada.
There you go.
18.
With an 18, you take out your rapiers.
Yeah, sure.
Short sword. And you stab it into its lodged arm. And you manage to penetrate its scales and you deal damage. It roars out. This small needle having stung it.
Six. It's not a question, I just wrong.
Short sword is plus strength, I believe.
Then I think I can do dex, right?
If it's a short sword, no, I think it's just strength. Who's next?
Books and
No, mainly because I'm a monk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure, so look it up, but I'll add the damage once you find it. But the dragon yells out just more rather than pain, in frustration, and it manages to pull its hand free the moment that you kind of sting it.
It's fine.
So that's total of 9. As a second action, the dragon tries to take another swipe, this time towards these barrels over here. It actually doesn't smash them. With the other hand, it kind of grapples its fist around the barrel and slowly and roars out in frustration. You reckon the moment that nothing comes of it except for bits of food and grain. With its third attack, with its tail, it takes one swipe towards the helm of the ship. It's going to make an attack roll against it. Rolled a 3. And surprisingly, the wooden frame of the helm blocks the sudden swipe of the tail. So that's the dragon's turn. Who's next?
Since I was afterwards, can I take a move action towards the dragon or not?
Sure, technically, now you're up, did you feel it?
No, I was
No, you're up. I mean, you're next.
yeah, I was going to be next.
Let's say you didn't do anything, because really you didn't do anything. Anyways.
Okay, so all the previous actions, but rather than brace, I rushed towards the dragon.
Go ahead.
Now, since that was a free action, unsheathing the great axe,
You can still dash.
I can still dash. And, okay, so that would be 50 feet, which would be 10 boxes. So 1 diagonal, 2, 3, 6, 7,
And
8, 9, 10.
And the grades you go by, those are difficult.
There weren't any grades here.
Or not just grades, any sort of obstacles.
Even if I bypass them, or do I just need to go through them?
Like if you move through them, it's difficult.
Okay, if I move through them. Oh no, I just pass diagonally. So there, that's where I am.
So seeing the white dragon land towards the back of the ship, you take your axe out and you just beeline towards it. So, who's next?
So it is now Jamail's turn.
And in my time on the airship, do I remember any other range weapon besides the ballista on the top of the airship?
As a free action, you can try and make a history check. So, to your knowledge, there is only the ballista, and in addition to that, I might add, the ballista only has one arrow tip embedded into it. There's more ammo beneath that.
Right, so I dash, more below deck.
Yes.
I dash below deck and try to get more ammo for the ballista.
Go ahead.
So where's the stairs?
So there is the door over there.
Okay, So I rush towards the.
How much? 60 feet?
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does passing through allies count?
It's difficult though.
9?
Right, Andreas. We can move through allies, but they're difficult unless you're
10.
two
Per second.
sizes smaller.
11, I guess, if you put one in there. Okay. Right?
I think you can move through allies, so it's just
Because
difficult.
covering nimbleness means but one size larger, I can go over.
So you dash pretty much in stride with the dwarf. Obviously, given your taller stature, managing to exceed him as you sprint past him. So, who's next?
So it is now Frank. Frank.
You miss. Let's see.
By the way, if the clouds are in the way, just move.
Yeah, I'll just remove the top cloud for the cover, okay?
So for my action, I look at the dragon and his ears, I whisper, "You are the small from another dragon, aren't you?" And I cast dissonant whispers on him. You must take a wisdom save.
3.
So it takes another 5 to the 6 by the way. So it takes till the 6 psychic damage, so in this case 5 psychic damage, and must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows it away from you.
Okay.
Reaction Majafiri. So you can reaction, I guess.
I haven't used a reaction yet, so yeah.
So yeah.
So the creature, as it's just unsuccessfully tries to smash the helm of the ship, suddenly it freezes. And it flies off with a massive bellow of its wings. And it will try to, well, full movement, right, you said?
Yes. As much as its speed allows it.
It's off the map.
Yep.
Hey, so this is below deck?
No, it's not below there.
And
Because it's remaining movement, because already you some movement together from earlier.
I don't know how it works because I need to look it up to be honest. And I use as a bonus action telepathetic speech. So on the I forget his name.
It's a cantrip, right?
It's an class trait. So the bonus action I can speak telepathically for up to a minute with one of the
Because it's two spells, that's why.
it's a class trait. With that guy, I forgot his name because of my memory fault. And I told him, maybe our crack of lies can help us now with dragons, you asshole.
He looks at you and you realize that his eyes are wide with fright and panic. That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
After Frank, Lockwood.
Right! Yes! Right, yo! Off with you, dragon! There we go! There we go! Yes! We've managed to beat it off! Well done, team! Well done! Well done! And he kind of walks towards the direction of the dragon, but very close to the door leading into the ship's hold below.
As my reaction, I say, I can see a shit stain. Those are
So after Lockwood,
It is the captain.
the captain. So the captain will...
free reactions. Yeah, you can recommend the prediction.
well, the captain is using her bonus action to manage the ship, and that's her action. To be honest, she's not going to do much except trying to stabilize the ship as best as she can. So what I'll do say is she'll take her reaction. She'll take a dodge. She'll take a dodge action actually. Okay, after the captain.
Raven?
Kontet naħseb. The ballista ammo, is it inside the deck? When it was shouted?
It wasn't shouted.
Can I shout?
Okay, so look around to see if I see any ammo.
Make a perception check.
Oh, 20.
20, okay. What I'll say is there's a lot of people heading towards the ship's hold. You don't see any weapons around you except for crates and barrels, most of which you think are like stock related, not armament related.
So I had inside.
Okay.
So to clarify, apparently this whispers is unique, and what it means is that it uses up the reaction, and the creature uses its full movement, so it moves 30 feet as its reaction, away from you.
It's full movement. Okay, fair enough.
Do I see?
So the dragon is practically off the map at this point, if you want to move it.
Do I see anything inside?
So with your passive perception here, yes, you do immediately see, first of all, an array of beds kind of lined across the sides of the ship's hull. You also see barrels and boxes, and also some ammunition, mainly kind of arrow tips and shafts, which you reckon can be used as part of the ballista's ammo. And basically it's those two tokens there where there are the bombs. There's one and another at the very back.
So I'll head for the figures.
You have more movement you want to do?
Yeah.
You have more movement?
No, that's it. Because I took the perception as my action.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. You figure, yeah. Like sometimes just
No problems. Sono bello. So who's next?
So, wait.
You're up.
So, from my end, I can see the dragon sort of running away, right? For now. And I'm just going to move to here. And as a reaction, I'll make a reaction if the dragon lands near me again. I will strike it. And as a bonus action, I will try to fight. Wait, is this how is the weather?
So
if I can hide using Mask of the Wild. Because basically I can hide with lightly obscured natural phenomena.
okay, so no, it's not lightly obscured or any of that sort. And also just to tell you, you can't take a hide action and also dodge. You have to choose either or. Both are an
I
action.
didn't see dodge. Wait. I see the ready action.
Okay, ready action to strike it.
Exactly.
But you can't use it also to hide.
Actually, I can use a bonus action at least to dodge.
No, it's not an action.
Yeah, yeah, but who is the
This is your last range period.
Yes, yes.
Fair enough.
So انت خطأ بدأ تدرج
Yeah, dodge.
And technically you can hide and have a sneak attack.
The problem is where?
تكون full cover.
Yeah. So,
You have to be full cover.
take the dodge. I'm just going to make a reaction for this thing.
Okay. Ready action. Again, to strike it if it comes near you.
Yep.
After it.
So after wit, it is or Nook's turn, yeah.
Okay. She's small.
Or no.
no.
It's like on interference.
Or he'll take a ready action, taking his great axe out in preparation should the dragon return. After the wearer.
So it is from top Vitus.
Vitus?
Sorry. Do I see the dragon?
battalja l-lura.
Do I see the dragon? Or it's beyond at this point?
The dragon is flying away.
Okay. So can I mount the ballista?
It's already mounted. That's the entire reason you're up there, because it's
Yeah, that's the point. Like, can I mount the ballistas and aim it?
Oh yes, you need to turn it around. So you
Okay.
need to spend 10 feet of movement to get towards the back.
Yes, exactly, because I know I'm close, trying to, avoid treacherously falling to my death.
So that's actually 20 feet here, because it's difficult.
And how does the ballista mechanics work? Can I...
So you need to turn it around. That's an action
physically?
for you. Yeah.
Okay, then I physically start turning it around the direction of the dragon.
You realize as you kind of try to move it, as I said before, it's frozen.
Yes,
So-
I know, I remember that.
So I need you to make an athletics check against the
athletics at post.
against the ballista to try and
athletics.
break the ice. 22. So you put your weight into the back of the ballista, trying to kind of shatter the ice as you turn it around, and
Moving it back and forth.
it breaks, allowing you to successfully rotate it in almost
the general
a
direction.
150-degree angle.
And that's my whole action for the turn, I'm assuming.
That's right, yes.
Can I use a free action to shout?
He won't be able to move there because there's not enough movement. He only has 10.
And why it was also more.
I need to turn
Yes, you
back.
can. You have your free action if you want.
Captain, the ballista's ready!
Get ready, because it's going to come back. Who's next?
The dragon.
Dragon.
I was still moving away from it, wasn't I?
Yes.
Smart. I have to make a quick call.
Of course. So the dragon is flying back with full speed.
Yes.
Basically, it won't be able to reach the ship because it flew its full movement. So it will be like, yeah, just 10 feet away. And it's actually going to use its action to dash. And I'm going to dash another 160. Sorry, not 168. Because 160 further. So 8, so it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, it's well like over here.
Shall I remove the rating?
Just spread the figures on horizontal. That is its full movement. Okay. Who's next?
Drandrel. Drandrel confusedly looks around and sees the dragon land just near him. So you've come to me, beast. He grabs the tankard of it from his backpack, takes a swig, and as he takes a deep swig from his tankard, he rages. Drops the tankard back into his backpack. Fire lights up in his eyes, and he rushes forth with a war cry.
Spittle and air flying from your mouth as you do. So, you need to move by that one, right?
Yes, I will first move. Next to my companion.
Damn, I can't achieve.
He my great axe high and bring it down. 4.
So, you charge the dragon, heroic music in the background, and with your great axe, you try and snap off one of its many claws. The dragon, quite deft actually for its great size, relinquishes its hand away from you and prepares to retaliate. What does he do?
I roar in its face.
Okay, you try to match its massive roar. Unfortunately, for the rest of the occupants above the ship, the dwarf's roar pales in comparison compared to the dragon. It will use its legendary action to do a tail attack against you. What's your AC?
It is a 15.
Massive 15.
It catches you with its tail as you roar back, cutting your roar mid-roar. And you take... Okay, so...
Barbarian ma l-għol jindaw minn xie skun ħabi.
Anything apart from magic?
Yeah.
To be honest, ma nafx x'ismu. Kien għandha xogħol iċċertu. Ġiburtu, le ma nżurtu.
Missu fit.
Għemmi kuttu naħabda l-għevi.
Rasi minn ta'
Okay, so you take 21 points of bludgeoning damage. Not only that, but you are flung 10 feet away from the dragon.
Nista' nuża l-Lucky Rage, l-Lucky Grace.
Barka talla. God's grace.
Xirka minn l-roll jgħaddi 6, jena.
You don't need to do anything. I will do a d6 roll for you. You instead take 6 points of damage.
You left Jake where you to roll the die.
So I take 3 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm going to the rage. The rage starts halving at level 1, you sure?
It's fighting rage.
We can check.
Yeah, in any case, the dragon hits you with its tail. At the very tip, however, gracefully did not catch you full stride, otherwise it would have probably cut you in half.
Sir Frank.
And that is Dragon's legendary action. After Drandr, who is next? Not you.
So after Drandr it is Jermaine.
First of all, I shout, I'm getting ammo for the ballista. Down under the deck. And I run down the deck and I try to get the ammo. So
those boxes are difficult terrain.
Okay, and the standard, now you know.
You could. Actually, this square is occupied by the dragon. By the way, you're like adjacent to the dragon, so.
I'll disengage it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll disengage and I'll walk towards the door.
So you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, and the
Kem turns bidej? 1 minute, alright.
Anything else that you would like to do as you leave the ensuing chaos of what is happening there?
I see Craven inside the ship.
Yes, you see Craven looking about as if he's looking for something.
Do I know where the ammo is?
You do. You also see, similarly as Craven has kind of settled onto one set of arrow tips, you also see another pack.
Alright, so I've got to help him with the arrows.
Craven stops for a second as he's kind of moving astride, hearing your footsteps from mid, and he gives you this suspicious glance. Then turns back towards his intended objective.
Franco.
Frank.
I'll sneak up. What do you have to restrictions?
You're down to 4, by the way.
Yes, certain subtract upward. Lucky Grace.
Once again, my skin starts to glow and mucus or whatever you call it, and I cast Mind Sliver on the dragon. Must take that intelligence saving.
And sanitize it with the
Otherwise I should call it a fail.
I reckon also. Do you have sanitizer?
It rolled natural 20.
The magician. Okay.
You look towards the dragon and you... Who's nearby you? Drandrin, as you kind of are flung back and you catch your balance, you look to one side and you see water dripping from the halfling's hands. In any case, he's looking intensely towards the dragon, veins popping around his head.
Luke is actually showing.
He looks like he's about to shit himself. And the dragon covers you with even more spittle.
In Drandr is drunk and stupid, he doesn't really take note of this. Just looks back at the dragon.
After Frank.
Lockwell.
I move here.
for. You see, great minds think alike. Yes, yes, quickly, let's get the ammo and get it upstairs. Yes, yes. And he makes it a point to make himself look busy. Yes, yes, I need to get this. And he crouches down, picking something from there.
Reaction knowing he's inside. Because I can still talk about it. Yes, it's up to a certain amount of miles. Miles. According to my charisma modifier, so I can talk to with them for a length of 3 miles. Yeah. He's right.
By the way, who do you set the case? Who
If you hide, you die.
No, wait, that's what I say.
So,
Kill you myself.
after Lockwell, who's next?
The captain.
Captain.
Actually, mucus, I've danger to make tape.
So actually, before the captain takes her action, the dragon will use another legendary action. And it will try to strike the crates in front of it.
Golden crates, guys.
So it picks, actually there's a bundle of crates over there, it picks one of them, crushes it slowly, as if it's looking for something. My babies! It yells in common. And it completely demolishes these boxes.
And what was there in the crate?
You see coming from outside of the boxes bits of food, useless inventory. The captain, right, so the captain will attempt to do a shake it off maneuver.
Just last for a number of minutes equal to your sorcerer level, so 1 minute.
Shake it off.
Biex tażel imma within 30 feet.
She yells out and she says, "Hold on tight!" As she does so, those above deck have advantage on the following roll. She makes a tight swerve towards the right and then attempts to kind of loosen the drake from the side of the ship. So she will turn right, everybody above deck, and even those below, you must make a dexterity saving throw, but those who are above deck, you have advantage on it.
Those who are above deck have advantage.
Sorry. Yes, if you're above deck, you have advantage, because she warned you.
18. Dexterity.
18.
12.
12.
And natural 20.
Natural
I have
20.
advantage, right? 17. That males is so 12.
12? 2. With the dragon? Natural 20. So the ship suddenly makes a sharp turn towards the right, knocking you prone, and also in this direction over here. Lockwell as well, I'll roll. He's okay. Onward. He's alright as well. I believe that's it. And the dragon basically. Now here you rolled above.
12. I rolled 12. I don't know what's the DC.
No, it's good. But the dragon is not shaken off. In fact, it remains clubbed towards the side of the ship. Who's next?
So after the captain, Craven.
Okay. So I grab that crate and start heading back.
Okay. The beds are difficult.
That's hard to figure.
And remember the diagonal movement.
Yeah, very complicated person.
Stubborn.
Yes, you can. Just to pick them up, it's a free. Alright. So Craven, you rush back outside carrying the ammo in hand. Obviously, as you walk past Lockwell, who's trying to balance himself, you also ignore the fallen over Jamin. Clearly your intent is to get this ammo above deck as quick as possible. So, after Craven. Wait, what do you do?
So, I start first sort of skipping here. I'll turn to the captain and just ask him, do you have his babies?
She looks at you, unsure how to speak, but she doesn't say anything.
I just turn my face and sprint towards the dragon.
I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw as you jump over the ledge of that part.
Anxious move.
You have advantage.
Saving throws.
And the plus one, this one. That's it's okay. It's
So
like,
Queen's Smackdown in Pharaoh,
that's good enough. So you, ignoring the lack of response from the captain, and then you dash towards this side of the helm over here, pirouette over, skipping this part. You land quite expertly and dash the final part towards the dragon.
And I strike.
Go ahead.
So, five.
You pirouette, landing, trying to impale this short sword into the the dragon's arm, but the scales block off the attack. Second attack.
I don't have a second attack, but I will use my bonus action to dodge. That
Okay.
is a key point for that.
You take a couple of steps back, prepared for the dragon to retaliate. So, after Wit.
After it or no?
Onuk. So Onuk will take his, he's already unsheathed. Onuk. Hand axe, and he will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He will dash. 7, 8, 9, and he'll actually have to make a dexterity saving throw over there. He's good though. So he lands, he's dashed already, and he can't attack though. But he's within engaging distance, dragon. Who's next?
Vitus.
Next, let's move. So the dragon is there. I can somehow turn it and shoot it at the same time, right? The ballista.
Unfortunately, the weight of the ballista is so heavy, it's so big that it will put your entire effort into moving it. It takes considerable time to do so.
I shout, I need someone to remove the ballista! And in doing so, I still move it to aim it next to the dragon, hoping it stays there long enough.
Alright. You move it around once more. Obviously, the ice having been broken in the previous turn, now it's much more easier for you to move it. And you position it downwards, you prepare to aim. They have enough movement, obviously, now to move them. Okay.
That's it, I hope for the best.
You pray that the dragon will stay in your sights as you kind of prepare to latch the bolt into it after Vitus.
Dragon.
The dragon moves. So the dragon is going to not disengage. He will try to move away. He'll move away from you, but he'll still remain within engagement distance to Onuk. So he'll just move over here.
Okay.
Here. He's still within engagement distance to Onuk. And he's also still within your line of sight, by the way.
One shot, one
Ma
kill.
tkun Onuk jek
360 no scope.
Ma tantx hi possibbli ta' spienest, xi ħaġa hekk?
Get tajb ġamba.
Yeah, qed nipprova nagħmel.
Yes.
On the wings.
Here you go. Here, use this.
Ah, okay.
So I'll roll for attack.
Yes, sir. Sorry?
15.
With the 15. So as the dragon flies back, you try to catch its tail, but you miss. The dragon flies past you, lands quite close to the dragon actually. He's more like in that direction. He has a certain reach, so he's still able to attack the captain. So we'll make one attack against her. So the dragon, he kind of flies up and lands behind Onuk, just 5 feet away from you basically. But he turns around this time, offering his back to the ballista, turning in full frontage view of the captain. The captain's last words are, "Oh shit," as the dragon's claw just rakes her in half, killing her.
Lucky Grace.
The Lucky Grace tokens are for precise, not unprecise.
Instant kill, instant kill.
مش lucky.
And she has a health pool roughly to yours,
Lucky
so...
Grace.
What was her name?
Grace.
The captain.
Clearly not.
Lucky Grace.
Grace.
The dragon will use his second attack on the... these barrels are gone now, I think, as well.
Yes.
Because I smashed them in an earlier turn. So So I have more movement. So I'll actually not disengage again and fly over towards these barrels.
Not in my line of sight anymore. How convenient.
But on landing on the ship, Gabriel.
To be fair with you, by this, like the shortest spot here would be like over there. So it'll still be within your line of sight. If that's okay.
You should aim somewhere where
And you can attack against the barrels.
Yeah, I can't ready an action.
That's one attack, and the second attack as well against the other barrel, both of which hit. He
His
smashes both barrels, and the dragon roars once more in disappointment, finding nothing but useless
There's one
ship
barrel here
infantry.
that's pretty.
Filled with baby dragons.
Baby dragons, yes, that's right. And that's its turn.
Round 2.
Go ahead. Onuk needs to take an attack of opportunity, by the way. He doesn't. Well, he hits the dragon, but he doesn't pierce the scales.
So, Drandrel takes another swing at the dragon. Round 2. Advantage.
Advantage is on strength
Strength.
saving throws. Saving
No.
throws or strength checks?
Le.
Because this
Strength
is an
checks.
attack.
Anke attacks, konna ċekajna.
It's strength saving.
I believe so.
We can check. First session is
Strength check, so all strength saving throws on people.
So it's neither of them.
Strength checks and strength
It's not
saving.
attack
When you make
rolls.
another-
Attack roll is different. A strength check is when you use like athletics or something like that, for example.
Alright, so it's a 6, I guess.
With the 6, you prepare your axe, bring it about, trying to hit the dragon, but either is the drunkenness kind of slowing you down, or the dragon is becoming even more agitated at every turn. You don't hit it.
Jermaine.
Jimmy. I use an action to get up from prone,
It's half your movement, so it's
sorry.
15 feet up.
and I use the rest of my movement to get the arrows. It's a free action to pick up the arrows, right?
It is, so it's 1, 2, and you have another 5 feet of movement.
So 5 feet back, and I use a dash to get out with the arrows.
You can't because you already died in the move, so to move here it would be a 10, but you can
Yes,
dash.
you
You
can
can
dash.
dash.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 5, 10,
10. He's left with 20 more.
20 exactly.
I head out with the arrows.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You rush outside, seeing Wit and Onuk together, like staring at the back of the dragon, and the dwarf trying his best against it.
Does the rope seem? Is there a rope on that side, like this rope over here?
There is, yes.
Does it look climbable?
It does as well, yes, with your passive perception. Though you reckon it will be a more difficult task to do so compared to a ladder.
I keep it in the back of my mind that, but I don't climb the rope.
Okay. Who's next?
Frank.
So,
Frank sounds like Frank, but in French.
Frank. Frank. 5 francs, you know. Okay, so what should I stay here? As a bonus action, I actually use telepathic speech on the dragon, and I telepathically say, "We have no babies on board. Be warned."
Make a persuasion check.
Oh. 21. Jesus Christ. It can speak by telepathically, by the way.
The dragon pauses, and you think it's believed you. Who's next?
Like, I still have
Yes, you. But it's paused basically, and it's like frozen in place, looking at you.
Okay, then given my intelligence,
To fucking janitor convince the dragon.
given my intelligence, I assume it's okay. And I move, bit of my movement closer.
We have 4 lucky grace last day.
And I use my action to do like a performance. This performance later I shout out. The situation has been calmed. It has been warned. No babies are on board. That's my action.
Who's next?
Lockwell.
Lockwell will scurry towards the back of the ship and hide.
Craven.
Okay, so I run to this point, and while I'm running, I will cast Ghost Fear.
Okay.
Oh, go Harry James Sheen.
18.
She saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck.
Contra 18.
Contra space save.
Let's roll that natural 20.
I'll be sorry.
So as you head outside, the ball is underneath one hand. With the other hand, you kind of aim it towards the dragon and try to hide yourself as best as you can behind the mast over there. You try to incant the words and try it to invoke some manner of fear within this reptilian's head. You fail, however. The dragon seems to be fixated on looking towards the halfling. It doesn't even notice that you were trying to cast some manner with its head. Who's next?
Wait.
So, hearing the call for help from above, I'm just going to go up there using the rope and straight the ballista.
Oh, using the one of the riggings?
Yes, the one that was here.
Okay, so make an acrobatics check.
Okay. Is it a saving throw? Or
It's an acrobatics check.
Okay. 13, 4, 5, 6, 16.
With a 16, you straddle one of the ropes and, like, moving horizontally upwards, you work your way towards the top. Like each of the riggings is roughly equates to around 20 feet worth of movement distance. So you essentially manage to get up here.
Okay, so that's 20 feet, right?
That's right. Whatever.
And do I have another 5 feet? Where was it? Since I was here, I need to move,
That's right. So, I mean, because this isn't the correct place for it, this is like for her, something like that.
Ah, okay, so I was there. So basically I was near it. I mean, there is no movement to the section. Right?
You're technically hanging over here, but with the last 10 feet, you managed to work your way up. So now you have either an action or a dash, whatever you want.
So that will be a total of 35, right? Movement.
30, no, 30, it's good.
30. So because I have 45.
Okay, I forgot.
And then,
One cannot serve.
so from here, how much do I need to?
Watch and
So you have,
towards
towards here it stands square, but it's difficult. So here it would be 20 in theory, where the movement is really over there, it would be double.
Okay.
I'm already on the ballista. It's just.
I'm going to just there just so maybe I can move it afterwards, but yeah. So yeah, basically I'm just going to move to here with a dash.
So with a dash I need to make it a saving throw.
Lovely. A saving throw. 6. 11.
With an 11, you dash towards the ballista, sprinting as fast as you can, trying to reach it, and buying not just yourself but the entire team some time to mount it and aim it towards the beast. You slip.
Yay!
You slip, and I need you. What did you get actually when you were like saving? With an 11, you're hanging. Can you roll randomly to see which side you fall?
Okay.
1 to 3 again, 4 to 6 is this side.
3.
So
That side
because you just failed it with a
the
small degree
starboard.
of success, you managed to catch one side of the air balloon.
Okay.
على اسفل
على اسفل.
Who's next?
Don't worry, lads! I'll fend off the beast! Natural one. Doesn't get out of this syndrome.
على السكينة.
He slips and falls.
Yes, the grenade, you know,
Grenade.
True. So with the axe, it's a homebrew rule. Like every time, like a natural attack roll is a 1, the weapon degrades unless it's
Right.
So raising his axe, he tries to hit the dragon. The dragon, however, shifts its leg, completely missing it, and the axe gets embedded into the side of the deck. Who's next?
So, Vitus.
Vitus. Okay, can I aim the ballista towards the
The
dragon?
dragon hasn't moved, so you can.
Finally. I recall to my teachings in the Tunaran city, and I say, I am her will-made manifest. I am her unsheathed sword. I am a master of dragons, and I shoot the ballista ball.
With the dragon there beneath you in full sight, you press the trigger. You feel the entire shock move into your body as the ballista emits this 5-foot bolt into the creature. Roll to hit.
How
You have a +6 modifier on it.
I'm adding what? Just plus
Plus
6?
six,
Just plus 6, okay. 19 plus 6, 25.
The bolt finds purchase into the dragon's side. Roll 3d damage.
3d damage.
I'm not looking crazy.
Like a great.
Lucky break.
So 3d. There's another d10. 1, 2. Here. So, 6, 8, 15 damage. 15 damage.
The dragon who was just before captured by what you had just told.
I didn't notice it.
And also on the sidelines tried to dodge some bigger attacks like Ponuk's feeble strike. Suddenly reels from one side. And all of you, at least within sight of it, see this 5-foot bolt kind of embedded 2 feet into its side. It looks upwards with hateful eyes towards you. Who's next?
I look at it back.
So, the dragon.
Oh, that's very convenient. Okay, so the dragon will fly upwards.
I remind you that whenever it wants, it can
Can I, as an attack of opportunity, try...
Seconda, should come on
sorry.
the...
Can I, as an attack of opportunity, try grabbing it by its tail?
Yes, you can.
Oh no.
So, it will be a grapple check.
Yeah, grapple check.
And this would be a strength-based attack check.
Yes.
It's strength for you, it's either dex or strength.
So I have
It's
advantage
a-
on this.
Yes, you actually do. It's a strength.
So
Ooh.
17.
You surpass it already.
Oh, yes.
Also, Onluk needs to make an attack of opportunity as well.
One more.
It doesn't hit it. Actually, it hits it, but its scale are quite sturdy and tough. However, the dragon flies off from the deck. You catch it by the tip of its tail. And you see a dwarf flying in midair, hanging for dear life. For
Don't drag it down.
What size is this dragon actually?
it's large.
Okay, because I think you're
Sorry, it's huge. Not
I
large.
don't think you can grapple it because it's.
No, he's not grabbing it. He's just hanging on.
Okay, it's hanging on.
So I'm on top as well.
Yes.
How can I tell you?
Oh, انت ما يموش يا. If you want, leave it down.
Oh, Gabriel, I know what to do.
I have more of those, by the way. Come on.
Have more what, dragons?
It's going to slide.
We can leave that as a placeholder.
Gabriel, it's a tragedy in the way.
Okay, I can get more of these now. And instead of...
Let's put it through the
Don't catch the
John, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
It's
Because
a saving throw. I'm hanging on to its tail.
you're hanging onto its tail, but if you want to land onto the airship itself...
No, it's fine.
Oh, you just want to hang there, okay. That's good enough.
I'll see what happens in a few seconds. Okay, once it stabilizes, I'll jump off.
There we go. If you don't hit the table, maybe it won't fall down. So you're basically hanging from the tail. So you're still there. So I'll just do this as well.
Little high chair. Oh my, so, wait, it's my kind of it. Okay, I'll try to find my footing, I guess. Dexterity.
Yes, sir.
So that would be 17, yeah.
That's good enough. Okay. So you let go of the dragon, and with its momentum, you somehow manage to land on 2 feet on the balloon itself. Good. So the dragon's action, it will make.
Don't worry, lads. I'm here.
Get those dice ready, yeah? Yes.
So, did I know? One Greece.
Waħda, right? Grace token.
Greece token.
Okay, so it's going to make 2 claw attacks against the 2 of you. So I start with you.
2 each or 1?
One each.
Okay.
What's your AC?
19.
Which were quite good for level 1. So, with a 19, it tries to grab you with its claw. Seeing it coming, you dodge. Second attack. AC.
15.
15. With a 15, it tries to do the same thing against you. Having just landed, you dodge a second time. Third attack, it will do a tail swipe against you. Actually, I think I'll do it against you, seeing as you just...
I am drunkenly swaggering.
You caught it, stay alone.
22 though.
15.
15.
Okay, so
Spera minn bottanix. Not gift line.
it's actually a tail swipe, so it might, I need to check.
I think gift line.
No, it doesn't.
My line left higher join his leg.
So you take 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Use a grace token.
Wait,
Wait, you're half it, no?
Half.
So
But
you're
half
still
rounding
alive.
up, so 6. No, I would still be alive. But it would be less, and I would continue taking
After you,
damage.
just take 1 for me.
Six damage.
As you want.
But I mean, not my place, but I think it's not weird that you take them since you take half.
I would take half of half. You see, and I would continue being the sponge.
Okay, fair enough. Go for it.
So,
Alright,
Token?
so yeah.
roll this is 1 damage.
1 damage.
0.
There, I'm done.
And that is the dragon's turn, basically. Who's next?
Drunken.
Go ahead.
Revenge. Revenge. 7.
With the 7, as you're busy dodging the incoming attacks, you try to catch one of the dragon's retracting arm, but you fail to hit it. Seeing as the dragon is flying adjacent to you.
Okay, so I move closer to the rest.
Yes.
Trying to shield. Making cranky as much as I possibly can.
Okay. The dragon will make a legendary action and it will do a tail attack against the ballista. It hits.
No.
Vera il-ġilda.
Għannek għandek bżon.
ġilda ta' vera
The ballista deals 16 points of bludgeoning damage against the ballista and it smashes it with its tail.
USB-C.
Below deck, with champagne and Craven coming with the camo, you see the ballista splitting it up from above the ship's deck. Two of you freeze and shit
I looked away for 1 second. I looked away for 1 goddamn second. While I plugged my laptop.
That is Drunril's turn.
That is the Drunril's turn indeed. Jermaine.
Can I use the arrows as javelins?
You sure can. It will be an improvised weapon though.
Okay, so it won't be.
I believe improvised weapons in D4, yes.
You got a Gmail.
Okay, Okay, so I'll try to use one as an improvised weapon, and then I'll keep moving towards the ladder.
Wait, البرسة من نفس الأصل ما فوق.
Like it's smashed. Like the only things remaining on the balloon are the wheels and the chains.
So mending wouldn't fix it.
It's already a kilometer behind you at this point.
It's in the end.
Improvised weapon, ايش modifier?
So no, it's
No modifier.
I think it's no modifier, and it's D4 damage.
12.
So as the airship plummets into the air forward, you prepare.
Yes,
And you heard it, and it falls short. Catches the wind and it flies past.
I throw the arrows on the ground and I run towards the ladder.
Go ahead and make a move. Or I can move you if
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Yeah, just 30 feet.
Okay.
It's a balloon, so I mean it's storm.
You're not tip pop your balloon.
You can wait for it, for the dragon to
Turn
come down and then catch it.
off all the dragons.
Alright, that's fine.
Just grab onto its tail.
Who's next?
Frank.
I immediately talk to it again and say,
Well, what was about the
Young men, they are not babies. We are not just any babies.
And
Persuasion check.
son of a...
Are they really not babies?
Probably not long until I'll actually level 5 immediately. Flex 3.
Guys, I'm not lucky Grace, guys. Grace dice. We're never going to have this opportunity again.
Take come out the HP, yeah, why that's a
500 high.
500.
It's a first encounter boss. No, it's 500 HP.
CR 30.
What do you do, Frank, as you see the dragon trying to keep pace with the ship?
Explode the ship. You move to level 5.
I think we have to jump off the list or something.
I cast shape water as a cantrip and control the
Oh,
rainfall
مش كابتن لسه.
and create a shape of a heart in front of the to show him the friendliness.
On what? On what?
In front of him,
In front of us.
I can control the water and make it take into any shape actually. So what can happen?
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
Actually 20.
1.
Wait, lucky halfling I can roll it. 19.
With a 19, all of you who are trying to fight for dear life against this flying reptilian, you see, quite strangely, from the water droplets coming downwards, a heart forming. And you think to yourselves, what a fucking waste of a spell it is. As you see the janitor from down below with one mop in hand trying to form the heart until it loses cohesion and the dragon just smashes the water apart.
That Jedi is her Jedi from Heart of the Last Jedi.
Alright, who's next?
Lockwell.
Yeah.
You can skip him.
Craven.
Okay.
Actually.
I'm your
He rushes on from the ship's hold over here with a dash, holding what seems to be a bolt thrower of sorts. A small crossbow, rather, not a bolt thrower, a small crossbow in hand. And he says, Guys! I found the griffin thwarter! Somebody show me how to use this thing! Who's next?
I try to still figure it out.
Okay, go ahead.
21.
I will use his legendary resistance to automatically succeed on that. I will use his legendary resistance to automatically succeed on the roll.
Okay.
To be honest, I can roll first, but
30.
with a 20 something, I wouldn't have.
But still against my spell save DC, so with 30.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you even have to roll?
That's
I don't know.
confused.
I don't think so.
What's the spell?
No, I don't think so.
Force field.
Then usually probably he has to roll.
Yeah.
So I just rolled the 15 plus
so
So it's
modifier. So I don't even need to use legendary saving throw here. Just wanted to flex a bit, that's all.
Okay. And I walk back here.
No, we can use our legendary action to stop his legendary action.
Our legendary grace.
Lucky Grace. 3
Grace
points
to fall
up.
down.
Okay, at this point,
Nice one.
he will use a legendary action, the dragon, and he will try to do a wing attack.
Wait, obviously.
Do a what?
A wing attack.
Picked up them.
He's using his
Oh,
wings in front.
he can't use
He's using
legendary
them to
action
flap them
during a stare.
vicariously against anybody in close vicinity.
But
Send them down.
is the wind coming from here or from here? Because it might counteract the roll of flag.
Physics.
Still, since I'm hanging, do I get attacked?
Technically you're on the other side, so you're good. Right, so I need Dranril, Vidus. You're not within 10 feet, so you're good. The two of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Hey, 13.
Unfortunately, the sea is way higher than that.
Way higher. 30.
Way higher
Way.
than that. And
What happens? We're learning to fly.
so you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage each, as the wings send you buffeting off the airship. Sorry, off the balloon, hurtling into the deck below, two of you.
I'm gonna use a grace, please.
I don't believe I should.
Should I roll again?
So
I
you take
don't
4
believe I
points of
should
damage
use a
instead?
grace dice because we don't know how long we have left. So we have 2 left. And I will take the full 7. 7, right?
No, it was
No, 14, so it would be 7 for me, okay.
But don't you lose your rage?
No, I lose my rage if I don't take any damage.
Good, okay.
Or cause any.
So you take 7 and you're unconscious. Right?
No. Why?
How much health do you have left?
No, I have 4 HP left. I had 15 to start with.
Yeah, he has 4 left. 15. He took 3 points, then 1 point, now 7, that's 11, he has 4.
Okay.
I
No,
don't
no,
think-
I'm not asking to trip you or something. It's just
I've already
15 health at level 1 is amazing. That's
I've
all.
already did.
He's a barbarian.
I'm down.
He's a barbarian with like constitution plus 3.
So the two of you know are actually prone in the direction of you because it's kind of opposite him. So yeah,
Over here?
Yeah, both of you.
So we're near the halfling.
That's right. You see, kind of hitting the deck very suddenly,
Wait, I see them falling.
a barbarian and the Gityanki crashing into the wooden
Wait,
deck.
it's Yankee. Yankee sounds American.
And why am I
Gityanki, right?
Get Yankee, I think. Yankee sounds American.
Why is
Apparently it's offensive now.
Why is he identified by species and I identified by class?
Sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
The giant.
Oh, they fell. When
They
were
fell, yeah.
falling off.
No, no.
Bless you.
Okay, that's the dragon's legendary action. The ship, meanwhile, by the way, because no one's navigating it,
47. 4.
They're just staring down. Yeah, you have to write.
Somebody call like up
Your vehicle's land proficiency.
so you feel the airship lurch forward as it starts to lose altitude, and given the sudden kind of the strong winds which are plaguing the ship at the moment, it causes damage on the balloon itself, as it kind of is faced to take an awkward angle and massive forces from the forefront. You hear a tearing scratch, and the metal is starting to bend from the forefront. So, the airship takes 5 to 10 damage. By the way,
10.
5 to 10 yes.
Do we know how much HP it
That's
has?
enough for today.
I do, you don't.
This is not my character saying this, but I can ask whether fallen on 5 pieces.
And the
You can't
airship
spend it full
takes
on the airship.
22 points of
Do you
damage.
have spell slots left?
I think up to one.
Is the airship alive, Gabriel? Is it a creature?
The airship has
The
a
machine
sand
split
slope.
lifts
So it's a
it.
creature.
It has a sand slope, it's not a creature.
Hey, featherfoot.
So,
Bending level 1.
who's next?
Can it use a grace dice?
No, it cannot.
I told you
It's a
it's
space
so
creature.
So,
Whose turn was it?
whose turn was it?
Mine was last.
Craven? No, was it? No.
Yeah, dragon creature.
No, but the dragon used a legendary action,
I
so
think it
before...
was. I think it was.
Mine.
I think it's...
So,
exactly,
so
it's now it's Winston.
So, how can I get us back up? I'm thinking that.
Yeah, that's right. So it will take an acrobatics check. That will be your action basically to get up.
Okay, so
No problem, no problem. What do you do?
so I need to get up, right?
Go down.
Yeah, yeah. How can I go down from there? Can I drop and hang to the so I don't take the full force of the damage?
You want to drop it the deck below?
Yeah.
It's okay, make a dexterity saving throw.
On the advantage.
No.
No.
Unfortunately, you land awkwardly. As you
They
hit the
break
deck
my
with your
neck.
probably your ankle there sprained a bit. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. You're still upright though.
Almost a die, guys. Okay.
And that's your action, though you have your movement left. Or bonus or free action, up to you.
No, I'm just going to stay there.
Okay. After wisdom.
Hulk.
Just bear yourself.
Just need to bear with him.
He's going to try and dash back towards the ship's scull, given that no one is driving it.
He didn't have any other weapons with him. He just had his bare necessities.
Well done, bard on... The bard has like a magical weapon, right? That was very Griffin's...
Pause.
That is on his turn. Who's next?
Vitus.
What do you do?
Vitus.
Oh, sorry. I was face looking at the tortillas. So I'm prone, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I wake up.
That's half your movement.
The dragon is still floating about,
The
right?
dragon is still flying.
And can I take a perception test around me to see where I assume I heard the rip from.
You did, yeah.
Can I see if I can see where the rip is originating from?
Well, with your passive perception, which is
12.
12, you don't need to kind of spend an action to look around.
Okay.
Whatever you heard, it was audibly
Should be on
harmful.
proficiency of what?
You reckon that it's not like a specific tear on the balloon itself, it's just that the forces which this ship is being subjected to are causing massive strains on the hull and the balloon itself.
Okay. So I wake up and I dash towards the head at this point, trying to see if somehow maybe I can get to the wheel and dislodge the dragon.
Go ahead.
Assuming we don't have a ballista, that's my first instinct. So that's 15, and then I have. Sorry, that's the other way. That's 15, and then I have one. I can't count.
It's okay?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I counted well.
Okay. Who's next?
Dragon.
So the dragon will fly down 20 feet. It will take an attack against you, Jermaine.
You know, bro.
No, I think you just knocked over at some point. What's your AC?
16.
26.
Jesus.
You take 13 points of slashing damage.
Oh, Grace. Grace, please.
You take 3 points of damage instead, slashing.
Okay.
Somehow, miraculously, as the dragon swoops downwards in a full dive, its claw reaches out, and the moment it's about to drag you along with it, with its momentum, you manage to break free and you lose balance, knocking you back for a second there. Taking the damage just from hitting the ship there, that's it. And the dragon continues downwards. Basically, it's still here, but it takes an attack against the side of the hull.
Where is it?
So it's still there, it's just a bit below, and it's opening the hull from over here. And it takes its third attack after successfully opening the hull to attack the barrel down there. You just saw her a few turns ago. Somebody yelled, I don't recall. Somebody I think said there were barrels of walking down there. In any case, it's covering the ship. We go to justify how it knows. So it opens that barrel over there, and once more lets loose a roar of disappointment.
No babies.
As you hear, and those of you looking downwards towards the side of the ship, you see a dragon almost upside down, hanging with its claws straight into the side of the ship's hull. You see bits of debris just flying from the side of the ship behind you.
So its tail is still up.
That's right.
Alright, that's yours.
So that's the dragon's turn. Who's next?
My turn. I get back up, that's half my movement. So I have 2 squares left.
That's right.
Which will do absolutely nothing. So I take out the javelin and I hurl it at the dragon's tail.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Is that any one of these simple weapons, martial weapons? Well, that's it.
Yeah, so the only 2 categories it can be, right?
Alright. So that's a 6, 10.
No, sir. So, I mean, the tail is quite a big target, but even then, it's hard as it flexes around and the javelin flies past.
So 1, 2.
Okay, after Drundle.
And I lose my range, I guess. Jermaine.
I heard Lockwell shouting that he has a crossbow, right?
He did say something along those lines.
Okay, so I try to rush towards him. And I say, give me the crossbow, I'll try to take a shot at the dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It is engaged, right?
Dragon, I don't have to disengage, right? Because dragon is 1 floor.
Technically, the dragon is quite tall.
Does the dragon actually see what's going on above there?
You're still within engagement distance, though. So yes, you would have to disengage from it,
I disengage.
unless you want to get hit.
I disengage.
Technically, though if you're an unseen target, which you might not be seeing, you has disadvantage, so you can...
I disengage.
You disengage, okay.
Yeah.
And
I ask Lockwell for the crossbow.
Okay.
Actually, it's flexion to grab it, I guess.
Yeah,
So let's go of it.
That's it.
Okay, who's next?
What water-shaped object do we have there?
I will first set it. The only thing there are eggs to be fried downstairs. Nothing more. They're quite big. Ostrich-like, from what I remember. I don't remember that. I just want to feed the dragon. And I cast Mind Sliver actually, so you have to
Wisdom duck?
with intelligence.
7.
7. So you take d6 damage.
But before you tell me the amount, I think I will use it. What does it do in addition to the damage?
So this one's like the other one. You take d6 damage, and I believe you have -1 before on the next saving throw you make. So yes, just at the 6.
And legendary resistance, I'll ignore it.
He screams
I
out.
will go. Where are the people? Where are the people?
Don't die.
dragon will use its legendary action to make another tail attack against this time the box over there. It successfully demolishes the box.
And it cries out in rage.
It turns round because it was upside down, and now its neck is kind of head level to the ship's deck, looking at you. Where are they? And the ship will also make another lurch because no one's controlling it. So, the ship dives. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dives if it's something. Oh,
No, yes, it's a nose dive.
17.
14.
Yeah, 12.
So 12, you're knocked prone. Crump,
17.
you're okay. 10, you're knocked prone.
11. 14.
Knocked prone, both of you.
13.
You're good. Honor,
I'm really good to one of them.
That was solid, stout, low gravity.
Issa, tilef il-rage.
No center of gravity.
Rage lost, drunkenness stupor ended, so he's white.
Ne, dak kollha lower center of gravity, allura jibbilanċjaw iktar.
all of you feel the ship lurch. And those of you who lose balance try to grab onto something to avoid from you rolling forward. But the ship is basically a 45-degree trajectory going downwards, gaining speed.
Do we see the actual air legacy? Or is it just
With your passive perception at the moment, and you're still kind of on your 2 feet, no, you don't. But that's because you're kind of flowing through clouds. Who's next?
So the last turn was whose?
Mine.
So Lockwell,
Yo.
Yeah, mine.
Jermaine, so Frank.
No,
No, it was
I
yours,
did
so
also,
Lockwell.
Yeah, more. I'm not mine severe.
Yeah, precisely, Lockwell.
Okay. So looking at you and also maintaining his balance from the lurch, he gives you the Griffin to water, which you heard him say before. So he just moves 5
Griffin quarter.
In your hands, you see the following object. It's actually just a normal, like crossbow. But you see, kind of, its ammo, as an ammo, like the bolt. It's actually there's a couple of bolas tied to it, and there's kind of string tied all the way towards the tip of it. So yes, it's a crossbow bolt with 2 bolas. And there is also netting kind of attached to these bolas all the way to the shaft of the
Do I need proficiency?
So it is a martial weapon. So if you're proficient at martial weapons, you're good. Right. So he gives you that as a free action. He still has movement to do. So he will. Fuck! Sprints towards the back of the ships and so on. It's controlling the. Huh?
He was prone as well.
No, he succeeded on his deck save. 1.
Firing it was more prone gives you advantage.
But it's
Trying to get hit
disadvantage.
from a range weapon while being prone gets you disadvantage. Disadvantage on the enemy and
Sure, I can just take the short route here. I don't know.
Advantage on me.
Advantage on me,
one,
that's
two.
advantage on the range.
Athletics check. 4. He fails. So instead, actually, he'll go downstairs. Only to find the dragon here, his tail, and the big massive hole coming back up. Guys, we've lost half of the ship downstairs! Who's next?
Craven.
Seeing that the bear is coming to steer the ship, I assume that he can do a better job than me. So I stand up and cast chilling touch on the dragon.
It's chilling touch. You need to touch it.
No, it's 120.
Attack roll. Okay, go for it. You need to touch it.
Ironically.
30.
So with 13, you well, you don't need a spellbook for this, right? It's a cantrip. Yeah. So you unsheath one of your gloves and point it towards the dragon's direction. As you summon the incantation, this chilly wind kind of envelops the dragon, and it looks at you. And you assume that chill touch is not the best spell for a wise dragon who is assumed to the frost-like environment of the Arctic. I know. 13 doesn't cut it. What else do you do, however, as you quickly put your glove back on?
Actually, I stood up, so that's hard, so I just move here.
Okay. Who's next?
Wit.
Okay. So, do I see the dragons, the javelin stuck in?
It's still there, yes.
So I get up, I run towards it, and kick it.
Okay.
Deeper. I don't know what it's doing to me. So,
No, I understand. So first you need to move towards it. And if you are knocked prone, it's half your movement to get back up.
yes. So I should be somewhere here because I fall there. So 5, 15, 20. I would be here.
Okay, make an attack roll against it.
Natural 1.
You aim your short sword with one hand and try to feint. Trying to destroy the dragon as you kind of attack with it, but with your other hand you're going for the bolt which is stuck into his chest.
And I can do a bonus action. And I'm strike. I can go for that.
However, because you're still kind of going for the attack and you rolled a natural one, as you try to pull off this intelligent maneuver, your hand going for the bolt, the dragon actually grapples you and pins you down into the wooden deck. So you're now, I need you actually to make a grappling check against me.
Grappling, is it strength?
It's acrobatics or athletics for you.
Okay, I'll go acrobatics then. Okay.
Quite well.
19.
Okay, so you actually succeeded against me, however I knocked you back wrong. You're not grappled though.
I'm not better.
You still have your bonus action, right?
Yes.
What do you do?
I cannot do that, right?
If you are not strong, you can still attack.
Okay. So, bonus action, unarmed strike. I'll try to hit it again. Kick it or something.
You're playing a rogue, right?
No. Monk.
Monk, okay, go ahead.
So, 15.
15. So as you you're knocked back onto your back, and the dragon's claw tries to kind of pin you down, you manage to squirm away. You kind of punch it back into the side of its scaled arm, but however, it deflects the blow quite easily. Just a mere human punch will not do anything to pierce a dragon's scaling.
Okay.
Anything else? That's it. Who's next?
Onuk.
So Onug will use half his movement to get back up, and he will move 1, 2, 3, take the ship's helm, and he tries to use his action to pull it back and steady it. And you feel the ship once more fighting against the oncoming wind as he tries to control the dive. Who's next?
Vitus.
So, I wake back up again. And I move on top, trying to see if Onuk needs some assistance.
Okay.
I don't know if it helps because I've never flew one of these, but do you need help? Shall I pull up? As I move here.
Okay. He responds by saying, "I can't control the ship. It's taking us down. I need another pair of hands."
Then I go and help Onuk pull up the ship.
Okay, so you can either make an athletics check if you still have your action, or you need to go all the way around the helm, from the stairs towards the left hand side.
Wait, I woke up here, so 1, 2, 3. Actually, I can go here. No, I think I need to dash.
Go for it.
I need to dash to here.
So you can either dash all the way around,
It's there. Okay.
or make an athletics check to climb onto the helm.
Hey, can I try to lap it?
Athletics check.
15.
15. You're good. So if you use your action, you successfully managed to scale that side of the helm. Who's next?
Dragon.
So the dragon will use his action as a reaction to do something,
Action as a reaction.
and I will move.
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
For every reaction, there is later an action.
Yes, and I will move
For every action,
towards.
there is a legendary action.
Can you move from onto that side over there? Yeah. And that is its turn. Who's next?
I don't think I can
So-
swipe my sword, right?
You are technically adjacent to it, and it did not disengage. So yes, you can. So it flies off, but you miss, especially since you're prone.
Do I realize what's going on? What the dragon is trying to do? Can I take an intelligence check?
I was going to ask you to roll for something which you as a player might think is obvious.
But to be fair, I was in a drunken stupor while all of this was going on. So he's just coming back to his senses. So does it make sense to take an intelligence check to kind of see whether he puts these obvious pieces together?
So with your passive insight,
Yeah?
what I'll tell you is that... Where are you? Jungle.
I take an insight check.
You can if you want, but it will be like your free action to do so. However, with your passive insight, you realize that it's looking for something.
In the
And
barrels
it's-
and boxes.
Apparently, there's some sort of relationship. Also, given the fact that it specifically asked you, where are my babies?
Ah. Might be an obvious clue.
Might be an obvious clue, who knows?
So I will turn around, follow the dragon, and my eyes land on that barrel over there, right? And I move towards it. I put my great axe high, and I say, "Take one more step, dragon, and whatever you're looking for, I'll smash it to pieces."
Make an intimidation check.
Intimidation. So that would be a 10.
It lands towards that side of the ship now. It's kind of hanging from the side onto the railing. Its tall neck visibly kind of overlooking the deck and looking at you as you approach it. And it snarls out, "Human, what have you done to them?" Who's next?
Is that a free action? Can I take an action?
Yeah, you just...
Rage.
Fair enough.
Why?
That's still a bonus action, right? So you still have your action, you haven't done anything yet.
That's some ready action actually.
Ready action so that if it takes a step forward or tries attacking me, I'll smash the barrels.
Okay. However...
Or I'll kick the barrels over the edge.
Okay. I will use its legendary action with the tail, and since you unsuccessfully managed to intimidate it, it will try to smash the barrel, but you have the
I kick it.
the lead.
I kick it. I kick the barrel
Okay.
over the edge.
So
Okay.
athletics will show you how far I'll go.
I'm trying to think how best to resolve this. So,
That's actually one of the smartest things I've ever seen a dwarf do.
okay,
Ale
let's...
fixes everything.
Huh?
Ale fixes everything.
Might have been a barrel of ale.
Let me make an attack roll against it with a +5 modifier, because those barriers are like AC of 10. That's how I'm counting it. I take +5 modifier because it's kind of you pushed it over. If I hit it, I hit it. If not, it's going over. So the AC is going to be 15 for it.
Can it be some competition between us?
No, acrobatics, not acrobatics.
Because like to use acrobatics in your case, you're just pushing it over, right?
I'm kicking it.
Yeah, exactly.
See who has the fastest reaction.
Alright, both of them do an attack against the barrel who gets the highest result.
لا عشان text. Acrobatics, it's fine. Acrobatics is fine.
Fucking
Come on.
Motion text.
Look, the barrel is in motion. I'm going to give you a +5 modifier, like against me to hit it because it's in motion.
And
So-
I'm enraged. So
No, I only need to hit it basically. If I don't hit it, I miss it. And it's
I'm not
over.
attacking as well to see.
No,
if
because you're just pushing it over basically.
alright.
Here we go. Which means I don't hit it. So the barrel flies over. The dragon, flashing downwards, looks at it. And there's this mid-pause of a silence. As the barrel flies over, it looks back at you.
Oops.
You will regret this.
Better go catch it.
It uses its reaction to swallow and suck in all of the cold frigid air from around you. And you, at its forefront, you see it unleash its cold breath for the first time all over onto the forefront of the ship. I need everybody within
Let's
a
say Grace, say
60-foot cone of it to make a dexterity saving throw.
12.
Sorry, Constitution.
Imma kon
Imma qed kien directed this way.
directed to right?
Where's going to directed
That's
towards the
right.
ship?
So
No, the direction of the dragon.
probably
Can I get my code?
Naħseb taqtu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
eżatti.
11, 12.
Yeah, safe.
So it's the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
U l-vapur, ukoll.
Constitution.
L-darri jmur fil-
apparently
So it would be 5, 8.
11 and the date.
Jien m'għandix le, jien għandi advantage fuq le, strength.
Or what type of damage?
Probably cold damage or something.
Koda.
Painful.
You can't have.
Painful damage.
Instant death damage.
Issa taqaf il-ralja.
Wow. Kemm ħajja rolja?
Il-milla tal-lura.
So you guys take. Għandik, sorry.
Michael got the jill to l-aħħar
the
Grace.
weakest link.
You are the weakest Grace. Goodbye.
You have great.
The unluckiest Grace.
So you guys take 56 points of cold damage.
And there's one.
Since you are technically the guest for the night, you take the last Grace,
Maybe this.
taking 6 points of cold damage.
You're unconscious.
You, however, it kills you instantly, as you're just frozen over by this icy breath, and you're just frozen solid to the deck. You are not unconscious, and you fall prone. In addition to that, the sudden immense weight added to this ship suddenly causes the ship to lose whatever semblance of balance it had. And with this newly added mass, like the forefront of the ship is covered in frost at this point. It lurches downwards and the dragon breaks free, flying away, presumably chasing the barrel you threw over. And that's where we'll end tonight's session, as all of you crash downwards into the snow.
I have feather.
I am prone already.
Do we still engage the border? No.
No, however, after tonight's encounter, all of you level to, you level up to level 2, and before you end the stream, we'll just roll hit dice, one at a time.
Hit dice.
When we're not
HP
taking
in the
this.
mouth.
So definitely this campaign.
What do you mean hit dice?
So
hit dice.
you're going to generate your new health.
1 second, before Mela.
We'll do it one at a time though, like we'll
Can I ask
go in
2
a
questions?
rotation.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, Mela. Yes, Featherfall, he's intended to use it. Is it for next session?
You could,
Okay. And second question, do we actually record the amount of XP we earn? Like numbers?
I'll give you, well it's actually 200. But next time I won't know at the top of my head.
That's why.
But I'll start giving it to you after the session maybe.
I'm assuming we'll have to keep track of
I'll
it.
give you the
That's
number.
fine. Alright, okay.
So, who wants to start? Sorry.
Joseph, the
Yeah.
So, if you want to roll under the camera to see what you get.
Two.
Those dice are completely unreadable by the way.
It was D6 and dice.
4.
Oh, yeah.
However, it's 2 plus your constitution modifier. Right?
Yeah.
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 So and also like as a homebrew rule, if you roll a 1, I'll allow another reroll, but you take the second result on the hit dice.
I mean, it has to be better, yeah.
Not necessarily, you might roll 1 again as well.
Yeah, man.
So, plus your constitution.
It's plus your
Yeah,
constitution
rerolling a
modifier.
1 is always beneficial.
Vitus,
10 HP.
Is this for each one? Yeah, with lower session this.
it will be every time you level up.
So I have a referee reroll once, okay. Hey, 10.
Nice.
That was 0, eh? That was 0.
Plus your constitution score.
Yeah, 12.
Nice. Jeremy.
Good roll, is it?
5 plus.
Not bad.
5 plus 4. 9.
Nice. Good constitution scores. You have a plus 4 on your constitution at level 1.
Yeah.
2 plus 2.
Plus
Okay.
2 plus schismo. Proficiency.
Average wizard rolls.
Does anybody have
What did you get by the way?
Okay,
2.
that-
He's
When
very
you gain H hit, as in HP as a level, do you actually get that HP?
You do, yes.
Alright.
By the way, how come it's a sorcerer is the 4, not the 6?
It's
Are you
the
sure?
6 star.
I think it's the 6,
Sorcerer is
mate.
the 6 star.
I think it is.
As far as I know, sorcerer is the 6.
Can you look that up in case we need to redo it? Brandon?
I'll check it out.
1d6 stop.
6.
No.
Plus your constitution score.
9.
Total of 9, yeah.
Makes sense,
Gracias.
because I had 6 HP, so it's 4 plus 2. That's a 6. So
Redo it.
Constitution, I think.
Zero. 2. Okay, still 4, but
Actually, it's a positive.
Right there.
HP.
Why,
You can take
Right,
HP
right.
course
4
of that.
plus 2.
sorry.
لا قبل كم
Mine, why
No, it's 6 plus 2.
Why who? It's instant death. So if the amount of damage you're dealt is double your health pool, it's instant death. Like you don't even.
hit points at first level. 6 plus 3.
8.
right?
I believe so.
What did you say?
Though to be fair, I thought you were less because I was picturing you at level 1. So I forgot you were at level 2.
Still.
And that's the game for tonight. That was the